Hi, we're going to look briefly at the CDM regulations, that is the Construction Design and Management Regulations 2015. And in particular, we're going to look at the obligations, the duties and responsibilities of the client. Under these regulations, the client has such things which they cannot delegate to a third party. CDM. CDM applies to all construction works, and normally most of us think of large building sites where there are lots of activities going on, the big hoarding going around the site with cranes and all the rest of it. But CDM talks about all construction work and specifically includes repairs, maintenance, upkeep of all buildings and all structures. There is an approved guidance from the Health and Safety Exec. This one here, it is L153, Managing Health and Safety in Construction, and it sets out the obligations upon the duty holders. There are 3 duty holders: the client, the designer and the contractor. Today we're just looking at the client. Bear in mind, for all clients in the United Kingdom, all building works, including repairs and maintenance, is now covered. This is really important because this means that the obligations and duties and responsibilities of the client apply to even small repair jobs, upkeep jobs and maintenance jobs on any structure or any building. What must the client do? The client must make suitable arrangements for the project. This must be in proportion to the risks involved. If it's a simple project, it's a simple solution. The client must ensure provision of suitable facilities for the works, and there's a schedule in there which lists out those facilities. For simple repair works, it might be just easily explained to the contractor when they arrive on site the emergency procedures for that site, where the toilets are, where the wash and basins are, it's somewhere different, where the emergency exits are, simple things like that that the contractor might need to know on his arrival. The client must appoint a competent designer and a competent contractor. If they fail to do so, they must assume those duties themselves. Competent means that the individual or the company has the necessary skills, knowledge and experience and other abilities to enable them to perform their functions. So the client cannot just pick up the phone, go through Yale.com and find whoever they want to do the repairs works. They could, but questions could be asked if something goes wrong. Questions could be asked, why did you think that company or that person was competent to do that work? Usually, of course, clients would say because we use them for years, because they have a long track record. Great. All these things help to demonstrate a competency. The client must provide what's called pre-construction information to that contractor. Pre-construction information is just basic information about that project, however quick and brief it might be, and about that specific site. Things like what's expected, what does the client actually want, what the client believes is going to happen, key dates. The contractor might be there for weeks, might be there just for a few hours. The resources and time and allocated arrangements between any other duty holders, if that applies. Most importantly, the hazards on the site. The client actually knows more sometimes than they think they know about their site. For example, is there asbestos anywhere in the building? The client needs to pass that information on to the contractor, whether they're putting a new fire alarm onto the ceiling, which has Artex, which contains asbestos, whether they're drilling holes in the floors, walls or ceilings where there might be asbestos. So the client needs to give this information to the contractor. There might be overhead cables. So before the crane gets erected, tell the contractor there are overhead cables within 6 meters or whatever of this site. Underground services. Where are the drains, the gas pipes, the electric coming into the building, the telephone lines, the data lines? Usually the client has this information. Keep it brief, keep it succinct, keep it straightforward. Often clients prepare all this information on one sheet of paper so it can be issued to the contractor on and on, over and over again. There's other information the client might have about hazards on the site. Anything that they have, stored energy, even if you turn the power off, sometimes there is still energy stored, or pressurized systems and things like that. Even obvious things, just put it on a piece of paper and make sure the contractor's got it. Any other relevant information needs to be passed on, particularly things from a previous health and safety file, things like surveys and assessment, structural elements and so forth. All that's contained in the pre-construction information. Where clients often struggle is whether it's a one contractor or multiple contractors, a small job, a repair job, or a large construction site. The CDM regulations do separate these two strands of work. Small jobs, the regulations separate them by the number of contractors on site. If there's one contractor on site or if there's more than one. The requirements differ in the regulations. I've got these guides on the website www.healthsafetyandfire.co.uk, where you can find all these things set out for you in a succinct, clear way. When it's one contractor, it's usually easier for the client to put the information about hazards, known information, onto the back of the works order. So when the works order goes out to the contractor, it's all there. When there's more than one contractor, the client has to do something else. The client has to appoint, in writing, a principal designer. The principal designer they need to ensure is competent. What makes you think that person or that company is suitable and competent to be a principal designer? It's usually a good idea to just pause and think about that and write down why you believe that to be true. It would be their qualifications. Maybe they're architects and members of the Royal Institute of British Architects. Maybe they're a chartered surveyor and in the organisation RICS. Maybe they're a builder and a chartered builder in CIOB or whatever. Their years of experience, previous projects, the organising capability of the company all comes into play. The principal designer has specific functions which they can take from the client, and they have their own duties. I deal with that on a separate blog. Today we're just sticking with the client. To summarise all these actions, on the website you'll find a simple guide when there's one contractor or when there's more than one contractor aimed at the client, what the client must do. Prepare the information, engage the principal designer, ensure suitable resources and facilities, procure the contractor, engage the contractor, ensure the construction phase plan is written, which if there's more than one contractor that would be done by the principal designer, and monitoring process. And at the end of the project, when there's more than one contractor, receiving the health and safety file from the contractor. The principal designer will facilitate that, ensure it's suitable and everything, and help the client. If the client does not appoint in writing a principal designer, they themselves are the designer. And very often, clients for small works are the designer themselves. I'll deal with the designer on a different blog. I hope that's a help. Do look it up on the website for more information and more detailed information. And don't forget this book, L153 from the Health and Safety Exec, is all in there. Good luck, take care, see you soon.